Welcome to the BJack 70 show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and we're in the final installment of the definitive quarterback ranking. Today we have number 7 through 1, and might be a little bit of controversy. Um, I have some rankings here that m- they're different. Let's say they're different than what the consensus might be. Um, but we will get into that. Just want to recap. Want to thank you guys for supporting the last three videos and liking and gained a couple new subscribers from it, and I appreciate it. Um, I put a lot of work into it, doing the rankings, doing the write ups on bjack70.com. Put a lot of work into it, put a lot of planning into it. So, appreciate you guys liking it, supporting it. Got a couple comments. People didn't like the Brock Purdy thing. Um, One person didn't like the Sam Darnold thing. So yeah, but it's been good feedback. Got some laughs for not necessarily the Baker Mayfield ranking, but the picture I used, which happened to be the mugshot. Um, but I mean, as far as I know, he's the only quarterback in the top 32 to have a mugshot. But that's neither here nor there. That we're moving on. We're moving on. We got a lot to discuss today. Um, but yeah, if you've been enjoying the content, if you're watching this and you haven't seen the previous three videos to know the order, what I'm doing here, how I've calculated it, um, check out the first three videos, 32, 32 to 24, 23 to 16, and 15 to 8. Now we're at 7 to 1. So if you haven't seen those, go check out those. If you don't want to watch those, go to bjack70.com. I have the list written out in in sections, but you click on this one, the whole list will be there. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Number 7. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. Um, it's honestly really a testament to Stafford that he's here at his age. Um, Top 7 in the league. I could have put him. I could have made an argument to put him just a tad bit higher. But I have him here. I have him here at 7. I am a huge Matthew Stafford fan. Maybe a little bit less so after watching his wife on podcasts talk about their personal relationship business. Um, but that's not really his fault. Um, but I'm a huge Matthew Stafford fan. What he did with the Rams in winning a Super Bowl did wonders for his legacy, wonders for how he's going to how he's going to be perceived after his career is over. Um, those Lions years, he was always a talented guy, but they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing in the postseason. Um, and it was a mixture of bad teams, bad front office, um, just every possible thing going wrong for an organization. Um, that was what the Detroit Lions were dealing with. And but when he got to a team with a great front office, great head coach, great weapons around him, he won the Super Bowl. Um, still has a strong arm. He does all the off platform stuff, throwing no look passes. Matt Stafford's problem at this stage in his career is that he is not consistent at all. He is not consistent at all, but the reason a guy like him is up so high is that we can pencil him in for success in the playoffs. We know that he's going to do his job. We know he's going to show up when the games matter. He will be playing at his best, close to his best, um, with consistency. And even if he isn't, he's going to find a way to keep you in that football game. And that's just what he's done as a Los Angeles Ram. They're always in it. They always have a shot if he's playing quarterback. Um, they've won even over the past couple years after the Super Bowl. They've won some games they weren't supposed to because they got nine back there at quarterback. So um, yeah, like I said, huge Matthew Stafford fan. Could have put him one spot higher. Um, but really, it's I could really go either way. Um, but yeah, shout out to Matthew Stafford and everything everything he's been able to do. All right. So coming up next, we got number 6, and that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been the topic of discussion for a little bit of time now. If you're talking about Cam Newton, Ryan Clark, Wallow and Gilly, just everybody on the internet has their opinion about Jalen Hurts right now. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Is he not a top 10 quarterback? Is he elite? Is he this? Is he that? Well, first of all, you have to say he is a Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP. You got to say that. You got to get it out the way immediately because that is fact. That is true. That is something that will forever be true. Jalen Hurts is a champion and a Super Bowl MVP. But besides that, getting past that, acknowledging that, respecting that, what is Jalen Hurts? And I don't, at this stage in the game, with what we've seen, what he's been able to do, I don't think you I don't think you can have him outside of your top 10. As long as he's in your top 10, I think you have a good list. And that's no disrespect to Cam Newton. If you know me, you know I revere Cam Newton to the highest order possible. Um, but I just don't agree with him saying that Jalen Hurts isn't a top 10 guy. Um, and he's a top 10 guy because we've seen his success in the playoffs. Um, but he just is just a guy that really gets the job done at a high level. Like when you say you need somebody to get it done, however possible by any means necessary, that's what a guy like Jalen Hurts is going to do, and he's a weapon while doing it. Like yes, he has great receivers to throw to, but there's plenty of quarterbacks that have good receivers, great receivers to throw to, and they don't do shit with them. Jalen Hurts has won the Super Bowl with him. Jalen Hurts is an athletic guy, maybe the strongest quarterback in the NFL, as evidenced by the tush push. Still working with no Jason Kelsey. They put in whoever they just rotate guys on that offensive line. The tush push is still going because that number one, that common denominator is number one is Jalen Hurts. Um, and that's a huge reason behind that is because he's just strong as hell. Um, he's a extremely hard worker, extremely humble guy, somebody that you would love, that every single coach I think would love to have as their franchise quarterback. Um, even just from a leadership standpoint, like that guy is the definition of a captain, of a leader, of what you would want as a guy leading your football team, leading your organization. A guy that, when necessary, will even look at his coach and be like, "Hey, calm down, coach. You're doing a little bit too much." That's the kind of guy that you want leading your football team, and that's not just lip service like, oh, he can't really do anything else, so I'm gonna talk about his leadership qualities. No, he can really run. He can run the football. He can pass the football, and he has shown that he can produce at a high level. His numbers aren't extraordinarily great. Like he doesn't have like over 4,000 yards receiving, a whole bunch of passing touchdowns. Um, but when you see it on film, you see that he can make the throws, he can throw the touchdowns, but what is his team asking of him and what does his team need from him? And it was running the football, it was handing off to Saquon Barkley, it was running the tush push. Um, and he's a guy that's all about winning. And if you want to win, you want a guy that's all about winning. And that's why I have Jalen Hurts so high. I I respect what he's done. I respect him as a player. I may not have always respected him as a player. Um, I did like I liked him coming out of Oklahoma. I liked what he did at Oklahoma, like going there and becoming a better passer and working hard. And I have here and there made fun of him like after the games, pushing the tires and doing the workouts, and it's on social media. But you can't really blame him for it being on social media because he didn't post. Other people are posting it. Um, but as we've gone on, like that's really who he is. He's a guy that's gonna work his ass off. Um, and that's always respectable, no matter if it's a quarterback, if it's a running back, lineman, receiver, corner, anything. Like a guy that's going to come in, be humble, and work his ass off. Um, I have to respect that, and he's gotten it done at the highest level possible, beating beating a guy that is up higher on this list in the Super Bowl after losing to him in the Super Bowl previously. That shows resiliency, that shows heart, that shows toughness, and yeah, man, I just respect the hell out of him. And that's why he's so high on this list. All right, so let's bring it back to me real quick. We gotta get serious for a second here because you know the person the person that I have in number five, there might be a visceral reaction. Okay, so just hear me out. Just hear me out. Okay, at number five we have Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, Joey whatever. Number five. Now everyone says everyone says, oh, it's a top like the top four is locked in, it's indisputable. Um like it's it's the guy you know who it is. I don't want to give up the list, but it's the guys that and Joe Burrow is included in that top four. Are we sure? Are we sure? Um, and this, and people are gonna think that I hate Joe Burrow. I don't hate Joe Burrow. I really like Joe Burrow. I like him even more after watching him on Netflix on the quarterback show. I really like him. I love his talent, but is are we are we putting too much stock into the fact that he beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs once in the playoffs? Are we putting too much stock into it? Because yes, Joe Burrow put up the insane numbers. Yes, Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. He is an elite quarterback. We're in the top five. These are all, I believe, elite guys in the NFL. He's an elite quarterback. He like the way he throws the football, the decisions he makes throwing the football, the accuracy that he has throwing the football is supreme. Like, do not misunderstand me. Do not get me wrong here. Joe Burrow is an excellent quarterback, but have we is he still living off of what he did when he went to the Super Bowl? That's uh how long ago was that? Like this upcoming season, that'll be 4 years removed from that Super Bowl. That'll be 4 seasons removed from the Super Bowl. Um, and look, man, he he's a guy that's throwing the ball to probably the best receiver in the NFL and also conservatively another top 15-ish receiver in the league. Um that matters. That matters. Um like the numbers were insane. Joe Burrow was an MVP candidate while his team didn't make the playoffs. And for that to happen, you have to have insane production. I understand that. I get that. Um, but the type of production that you get from him, you get from a team that has two top 15 receivers and a defense that's terrible, so you always have to throw the ball. Like all I'm saying is let's pump like if you just look at it individually, he's a great quarterback, but maybe let's calm down saying he's like the best quarterback, that he's top 3. Um obviously here I don't have him there. I have him at 5. Um and when you do go back and look at that Super Bowl run, the defense did a lot of heavy lifting. I'm not saying Joe Burrow had nothing to do with it. I'm not saying he wasn't good during that playoff run, but that defense at that time was excellent. That's all I'm saying, man. That's really all I'm saying. Just let's just take a step back. He's like when you get up to where we are in the list, like these top 7 guys, the top 8 guys, the top 8 guys that I have on this list besides Joe Burrow are guys that are in the playoffs every year. They're in the playoffs every year, and they at least make it to the second round most every year. Their their teams are not all, but most are perennial contenders. Like you got like Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, Stafford with the Rams. Um, excuse me. These guys that are on the list now are always in the playoffs, no matter what. No matter what. And you can say, yeah, sure, because they're on better teams. How much better are the Bengals, or how much better are the Texans than the Bengals? Like, yes, the Texans have a better defense, but Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like, that should cancel out a lot of problems. Like when the offense you have can outscore everybody, I'm gonna expect you to get into the playoffs no matter what you're dealing with. If we're gonna call you, if we're gonna say what we say about Joe Burrow and that he's a top 4 locked in quarterback, I just don't believe it. I don't believe he's the top 4 is the top 4 locked in, no ifs, ands, or buts. And I have him 5. I don't have him crazy low. I have him at 5. He's a top 5 guy, elite guy. Um, but him not making the playoffs the last few years, not being able to stay healthy one year, coming out the next year, slow start. You don't beat the Patriots. If they beat the Patriots, they're in the playoffs, and this list maybe looks different. Who knows who they end up playing? Do they go to Baltimore and beat Baltimore? Who knows? The list might look completely different if they beat the Patriots and get into the playoffs. But they didn't. But they didn't, and this is what we're dealing with. So I'm not gonna belabor the point too much longer. Um, he's a top five guy. He's an excellent guy, and let's just get to number four. It's Jaden Daniels, man. Call it recency bias, call it whatever you want to call it. We all watched it. The best rookie season we've ever seen from a quarterback. Flat out. CJ Stroud 2 years ago had one of the best, and we were like, wow, like look what he did with the Texans. Jaden Daniels came through and did it all better. Did it all better. With in contrast to what I just said about Joe Burrow throwing to two top 15 guys, Zayden has Terry McLaurin and then some dudes. He came out here balled out with Terry McLaurin and some dudes all the way up into the NFC Championship game. Like came out, did did his absolute thing. Like you like if you're somebody that's watching this, you don't really need me to explain what Jaden Daniels is doing. Beat Joe Burrow in the regular season in the shootout. Won all types of games as a quarterback last season as a rookie. His just the way the moment was never too big for him. He never panicked. The way he can sit back in the pocket, diagnose, process, and get the ball out is special. It's really special what he was able to do. He had he had all the answers for everything that was thrown at him last season up until the second half of the NFC Championship game. He had all the answers up until then, and then the best team in the league took him out. Jaden was so spectacular, and I'm gonna say it again with just Terry McLaurin and some dudes. He's throwing to the guy that used to be Zach Ertz. One of his running backs is the ghost of Austin Eckler. Um, other running back is a dude like is a dude from Alabama, like dude that went to Alabama. Brian Robinson, like Brian Robinson is cool. He's not a great running back. He's just a dude that gets a bunch of carries. He's not like he is really nothing special. And then he's throwing to me, you, and the dude um that works at Foot Locker, other than Terry McLaurin on Sunday. And he's making it happen. He is making it happen. Hmm. It's not lost on me that as a rookie he got all the way to the NFC Championship game while Joe Burrow has been at the crib when January starts the last 2 years. That's not lost on me. And that is why I have Jaden up so high. Um specifically what because of what he was able to do in the postseason. It was a spectacular run. It was a special run. He went into the house of the number one seed, walked into their trap, took over their trap. I loved watching it. I loved watching it, and I called a lot of it too. Well, you want to go back and watch those Brandon Betts Brandon's Bets episodes, I called a lot of it. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I got Jaden Daniels at 4. And we'll see what happens. Um it would take a lot for him to move higher than 4. Um and respectfully, he could very easily move down a couple spots based on what Joe Burrow or anybody else was able to do. He's like like I said, people were talking about the top 4 being locked in with Joe Burrow. It's not locked. The top 3 is locked for me. The top 3 is absolutely locked, but 4, 5, 6, like those can move around for me. So we'll see how he does. But yeah, number 4 coming up this year, I got Jaden Daniels, and we'll see what he does. Now, like I said, top three, top three is locked in. Um, top 3 is locked in, and there's a debate. There's a lot of debate who who you would put at 2, who you would put at 3. Some people debate even who would you put at 1. Um, my 2 and my 3, I can I can go either way. I can go either way with. Um, but let's just get into it. Number 3, I got Josh Allen. Josh Allen is my number 3 quarterback in the NFL, and it he's he's really amazing. I have gotten comfortable pretty much every postseason calling Josh Allen a super soldier, because I think like once January hits and he's at the crib in Buffalo, something happens. They come in and they give that boy the super soldier serum, because in the playoffs he has pretty much dominated, um, but just hasn't been able to get past Patrick Mahomes. And I I can't necessarily fault him for that, because I've seen him play so well. Um, and if you take out the postseason part and just look at what he does on film, he like obviously the strong arm, probably for my money, made probably the strongest arm in the league. What he's done building up his accuracy to where he started when he came in the league has been nothing short of spectacular. Um, huge, 6'5", 240, is fast, but will try to run through a motherfucker's face, like Marshawn Lynch always said. Um, and he's a true gamer. He will get after it. Sometimes will make some questionable decisions throwing the football or trying to make a bigger play. But the highs are the highest you could possibly get. So I'm not gonna worry about a terrible play here or there. You'll live with it. Josh Allen is is everything they say he is. He truly is. And um I have him third, and that's no disrespect to Josh Allen. Um he just won league MVP, and um I just talked about how he performed in the postseason, how he performs in the postseason. But I have him 3, and I'll explain it now, because my number 2 is Lamar Jackson. Now, I know people are probably gonna say, well, Lamar doesn't perform as well in the postseason as Josh Allen does. And so why would you have Josh Allen below Lamar Jackson? And the reason I have Lamar Jackson ahead of Josh Allen is because despite the postseason success of Josh Allen more than Lamar Jackson, despite that fact, I've never seen a human play football like Lamar. And if, again, at the core of this exercise, of this ranking, if I have a team and I need to pick a quarterback in order of these rankings, the second one I would pick is Lamar Jackson to lead my team if all I had was one of these quarterbacks and league average running backs, league average receivers, league average offensive line. I would take Lamar Jackson second overall because one, I've seen what he has done in real life, no hypothetical, with average wide receiver with average wide receivers. The best two wide receivers he's had what are Zay Flowers and Hollywood Brown. Um if you take stock of all the receivers in the league right now today, where do you think Zay Flowers falls? Is it in the top 24? Maybe. Is it in the top 20? No, probably not. There's a lot of great receivers. So, um, it is definitely not in the top 16. So, by definition, like he's a below average first option receiver just by definition. Because you charted out some people are going to have to be lower than 16. Some people are going to have to be below average when we're talking about anything. But getting back to the point, I've seen what he's done with league average receiving cores, and he's won two MVPs from it. I've seen what he can do. Not last year because he had Derrick Henry last year, but I've seen what he can do with just some dudes at running back. Because J.K. Dobbins was on the team, but he's been hurt. I've seen what he can do with just some dudes at receiver and some dudes at running back. He's had Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews has been a spectacular tight end. Um, and he's won two MVPs. And let's talk about the two MVPs because having the two MVPs literally makes him a Hall of Famer. It literally makes him a Hall of Famer. Hmm. Okay, so I went and pulled up the numbers on this. All all of the players that have won multiple MVPs. Um, if the list that I'm looking at is correct, they're all quarterbacks except for Jim Brown, which makes sense because Jim Brown one of just the greatest football players of all time. Um, but I'm looking at a list of guys who have won more than one MVP, more than one. So some of them have five, some have four, some have three. All of these guys have two plus MVP awards. Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jim Brown, Brett Favre, Johnny Unitas, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana, Kurt Warner, and Steve Young. Every person that I named there is either is is either already a Hall of Famer or they will be going in soon, or they will be going in once they finally retire. Aaron Rodgers probably is going in 6 years from now. Patrick Mahomes going in 5 years after he retires. Lamar Jackson is right up there with all of those guys. So just in good conscience, I can't have I can't have somebody else over Lamar Jackson that's not also a Hall of Famer. Josh Allen very well could end up being a Hall of Famer, but if both of them stop playing football today, Lamar Jackson is in. Is that like that's just it is what it is. Like that's just what it is. Um so that's a long story short or a long story long even me saying why I have him number 2. So if Josh is number 3, Lamar is number 2, we already know who number 1 is, and that's that guy. That's Patrick Mahomes. And I did I did think about it. I thought about doing the thing. I thought about doing the thing where Mahomes didn't win the Super Bowl this year. Like maybe let's be a little clickbaity and let's put him not at number 1 and see what we can do with that. But that's just not that's just not how I feel in my heart. Mahomes Mahomes is is flat out the best quarterback in the league, and he's been that for as long as basically he's been in the league. Like he showed up, didn't play his rookie year, his second year in the league, first year starting, won MVP, went to the AFC Championship game. Like from then on, he's been the guy. And yeah, you can say Tom Brady was still playing while Mahomes was doing this, but Brady wasn't like peak or prime Tom Brady while Mahomes has been doing this. Tom is the best of all time, but Mahomes was better while Mahomes has been the best since he's been in the league. Um it is really simple. Like I don't even really have to get into it. We know he can do it all. He can scramble when he needs to. Every time he scrambles in one of those playoff games, it's a huge moment. Because he brings it out at the right time, always exactly when they need it. He's the king of the off platform, no look passes, different arm angles. Um, Probably the most talented thrower of the football. And that comes from me, who was definitely somebody who prayed at the altar of Aaron Rodgers being the most talented quarterback ever. Um, Mahomes has that title. Just with the flick of a wrist, what he can do, putting that football where he wants it to go, throwing it 70, throwing it across the field. Um, it's super impressive, and we haven't seen anything like it. We haven't seen a quarterback like this where everything usually seems to go right. Um, you got people dropping potential interceptions, people defenders holding when they don't necessarily need to hold. You have opposing coaches going for it when they don't necessarily need to go for it because they're scared of what this guy might do on the other side. Um, he's really he's really everything that he's been built up to be. And like I said, Tom is the greatest of all time, but I truly believe at this point already, Patrick is number two. I am admittedly not a fan of Peyton Manning. So if you want to go that route, I don't agree with you. I got Patrick. So yeah, man, I really don't need to say too much more because you know in your heart of hearts, even if you hate the Chiefs, you hate what they stand for. Mahomes is that guy. Mahomes is the number one, and he should be the number one. So so that was it, man. That was the list. That was me ranking all the quarterbacks 32 down to number one. Um, yeah, I want to thank you if you followed along, if you watched all the videos, watched all the content. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out bjex.com if you want to go through the whole list, or like I said earlier, go ahead, watch the previous videos. Um, you know, and and yeah, it's it's football season now. It's really football season. Training camp. We've been in training camp for what, like a week and a half now. Um, and we're gonna get active on this channel. Football is happening. When this comes out, a football game will be being played. That Hall of Fame game is happening. Real football is being played. The pads are the pads are hitting. Um, it's gonna be a real fun season. It's gonna be a real fun season. Hopefully, we're gonna do some real fun content on this channel. So if you want more of that, stick around. Stick around. That's all. That's all I can say. So, but thank you for watching. Thanks for watching the series, and until next time, we'll see you.